Chicago 2:32. It's just the same as last fall, just 10 minutes faster. No big deal. I think a lot of people after Boston and Jeff's response to hyping me up is that everyone's expecting me to try to go on after a sub 2:30 marathon this fall. There's a lot of factors here. I think it's still a very challenging goal to set it at 2:32 or under 2:32. And if we get more fit through the next 3 months, maybe we'll reevaluate that. But for now, episode 1, the Chicago series is going to be trying to break 2 hours 32 minutes in the marathon. And what better way to kick it off than a 5,000 meter track race? If you followed along the Summer of Speed series, the past 5 to 6 weeks, we went through all of the training I'd been going through with Jeff, with track workouts and faster splits, 400 meter repeats, 600 meter repeats, fartleks with 2 minutes on, 1 minute off, to get the legs going, to try to run a faster 5K race in hopes that that speed will convert to speed over duration in the marathon distance come this fall. And it felt extremely successful. Unfortunately, as I said in episode 4 of that series, I got sick right before the race happened, and I contemplated even racing the dang thing. We got to the event, and I just got way too excited about that environment, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna send it. So my boys actually stayed, my 2 oldest, and all of my kids ran the 500 meter race, which was incredibly sweet. Our littlest actually ran the entire thing all the way around, and it was just so fun to be able to celebrate that kind of race environment with my family. It was just really, really fun and cute.
John is our starter.
Was that so fun?
Yeah,
that was so fun. So yeah, the boys stayed with us the rest of the evening, and we got to talk to other people, hang with the community out at the track that night, and cheer other people on in their races. But my time came. Did not feel 100%, but felt like good enough to give a hard send.
You nervous?
Yeah, I'm so nervous. Actually, not really. Yeah, I will be in 15 more minutes, 20 more minutes. Should probably do some strides, right?
Sub 16 in the cards?
I don't know, man. This is probably a terrible idea.
My son was filming me on my phone. I made a reel out of it, which was super awesome. But we towed the line. It was very, very humid that night. I don't know how much that really affects the 5K distance, but it didn't feel great. As soon as we hit a few laps, I was covered in sweat. By the end of the race, it looked like I had just gotten out of a pool. But the way it went down, like our first 200 meters was incredibly slow. I remember looking down at my watch and seeing that we were running like 6:40 mile pace. And my target goal is like 5:05 mile pace. And so I don't know, right away, psychologically, it started messing with me. And I had talked to people after the race too, saying like, why on earth did we go out that slow? It's just the pack went that slow. And after that first 200 meters, we crossed that finish line, and then everyone just kind of started taking off. And so packs started to form, and I had the choice of going with a pack or staying back, and I went with a pack in front of me. And I think pretty quickly realized it was probably a bit too fast, but wanted to stick with it. And then started leading a pack further back on my own. And it felt like I could have made moves throughout this entire race. I could have run with more confidence, but the reality was the whole mindset in the race was, you're sick. This is what my headspace was. You're sick. Don't make any strong moves that you don't feel like you'll be able to sustain. Because the last thing I wanted to do was like push too hard and then the last mile completely fall apart. And so I think that's why I ended up negative splitting the race. But I don't believe that negative split was indicative of all of the work I could have put into the race, and the time reflected that. Got put on an island a few times, got taken overtook people. We were just kind of ricocheting back and forth. So that competition was great. But even just looking at the data, I'm going to pull it up on Coros here. Just quickly, I want to touch on when I took the Coros fitness test at the beginning of the Boston block, it said that my predicted max heart rate was 190, which is a pretty low max heart rate for someone my age. And, a common refrain in my training a lot on Strava is people talk about how low my heart rate is in training. The reality is it's all relative to what your max heart rate is and what percentage of, output you're giving in any given effort. And so people, even in a race like this, my average heart rate for the race was 166. And everyone's like, how did you do 166 for an all effort in a 5K? Well, my max isn't that high But also, I do think that this data indicates that I wasn't pushing as hard as I could, and it indicates that I was kind of running scared, because my average heart rate for the whole first mile was 158. And that's my marathon heart rate. And I know it takes a while to elevate, but it felt like I didn't run that first mile fast enough. And I was clocked at a 5:17 for the first one. And that just shows time-wise that it wasn't fast enough either. So again, the data's proving, the feeling of kind of running scared, because the next mile, my average was a 168, which still, to me, doesn't feel like that is where I should be at in a 5K. Percentage-wise, I feel like I should at least be in the low 170s for almost the entirety of a 5K race, because even in like a 10K or half marathon race, I should be in high 160s. So again, didn't feel like I was pushing hard enough. And then the average of the last lap, the last mile, was 172. And that felt more indicative of the effort relative to what a 5K race should be for myself. But you could see like towards the end here, that last 200 just completely left everything out there. And that, I think that also proves that I just had more to give, because, even in the last 100-meter stretch, I was running like sub 430 mile pace. And I think if I were to be more aggressive in those first 2 miles, I would probably be bringing it in much, much slower than that fast of a kick. A lot to be learned here. I don't typically run this distance or race this distance. This is only the second time I've really done it formally. So a lot to be learned there. And I ended up with a 16:15 officially, and really wanted to break 16. But on my Strava post, I said, I'll take it. And I feel really good about that. And a lot of race predictors would put a 16:50 at like a marathon of 2:34 or 2:35. But after that race, Koros race predictor actually put me at a 2:28:41, which is crazy. I don't know if I believe that yet. Maybe that will be indicative of what I will be after this next training block. I know that whenever you have a strong effort, this race predictor tends to like really ratchet it down, and then it kind of eases off on that a bit. But it is factoring in all of my last 5 months with the Boston build and racing the Brooklyn half, where I went sub 115, and it's even putting my half at 1:12:19 as well now. So that's super exciting, and that gasses me up. But coming off the race, it just felt really exciting to kind of kickstart my Chicago block, because that next week was going to be week 1 of a 12-week block leading up to Chicago. Coach prescribed me 12 miles the day after race, but I was still feeling sick, so I decided to take that Saturday off. The race was on Friday night, and then Sunday I ran 12 miles easy because I was still sick. It just took it really easy. The next day, I felt so much better, and it was my first double of the block. Jeff's now putting me on doubles in this block on easy days. Instead of doing 11 miles easy half the time, I'm starting with 8 miles easy in the morning and 4 miles easy in the evening. So that Monday, I was scheduled to go on a trip to Texas. I did 8 easy in the morning and then 4 in the afternoon in the Texas heat in 100-degree Fahrenheit heat. Felt spicy, but I want to be committed to the process, want to be in it, want to hit every single day in this block. So I went for it, did it, felt good. Felt like I was getting off sickness. Great. On this trip with music bed was insanely fun. We're like playing pickleball. We're going out on the boat. We're just doing a bunch of stuff.
Transportation has
Coffee shaken, not stirred.
all right.
The Australian Matthew McConaughey. That was it.
Next morning, got up early before everybody else, did 11 easy. Wasn't super easy because, again, very humid. Even in the mornings, like 80 degrees, 82 degrees Fahrenheit.
Texas, 11 easy. Let's get this.
And the road by the lake house was a lot of rollers, not super flat, but got it in.
There's 11. It's warm.
And even felt a bit tenacious after the run. Did some push-ups with Brian by the pool.
That time you spilled your bone water, everybody left till it was just the three of us on a couch that we built. 35 degrees.
Loaded up on some blueberries, felt great. And then that night prepped to go for my workout on Wednesday morning, and that did not go super great. All right, just set everything for the morning. I have Go Bar pre-workout, electrolytes because I forgot UNM Sport on the trip, which is great. But did 11 miles easy this morning. Tomorrow is mile warm-up, 7 miles alternating 4 minutes at half marathon pace, which is gonna be about 5:30 to 5:35, and then 2 minutes of float. That'll be repeated for 7 miles total, and then mile cool down, so that's gonna be 9 miles total. It's really warm here. This morning it was like 82 degrees right at sunrise. Thankfully I get to sleep in a little bit relative to when I'm normally up, but should be good. Got the endorphin elites ready to go for the workout. I'm just gonna hammer it. The road's kind of hilly, so that's not great. Try to find some flat sections for the 4 minutes on and just rip it. I don't think I'm gonna bring my GoPro because I'll be running fast. Okay, bye. And was able to hit it in the first 2 reps, but I got to reps 4 through 7 and really started hurting, getting all the way to 5:40, 5:45 pace. I think this was a factor of heat and just doing a lot on this trip and not necessarily being fully recovered. I try to be really gracious to myself at the beginning of a training block because I'm not super fit yet, and it's okay as long as the effort is there. That's really all I care about, that I'm not falling apart. And I wanted to halfway through this effort just give up and run the rest of the miles easy, but I stuck to it and I finished out the reps in that 7 mile chunk. 1 mile easy to end. Yeah, then we did a bunch of fun stuff again. We did go-karting that evening with the group, and I kid you not, I tweaked my back during go-karting. 40, 50 mile an hour go-karts. They were pretty intense, so I was flexing everything I had to round corners and try to get the best lap time. And I remember stepping out the second time we did it, and I tweaked my back and felt pretty tired that evening. We stayed up till 1 a.m. and I was like, I still need to run in the morning. It's just 8 miles easy because I'll be doing a double again. And I decided to sleep in. Still got 7 hours of sleep. But when I got out that morning, everything hurt. All right, this is the last day at the lake house. Finishing up with 8 miles here. This is my 4th run. And then we have 4 miles in the evening today, doubling again. 2 doubles in the first week. Got me feeling some kind of way. Before I get my last run in, there's this massive hill you have to get up to get out of this property. It's not fun. So just use it as a little walk warm up. Body's feeling incredibly tired because did push-ups with Brian the first day, as you saw. But we also went go-karting yesterday, and each day I've had about 20,000 steps on this trip. Not mad about it. It's how I prefer trips now, but I'm tired. I'm starting to realize how exhausting this block is going to be, especially as I do work trips like this. But we move on, we keep going. It's Sunday, 8 miles. Oh, everything hurts. Everything hurts. Gotta warm up cause everything hurts. Road is a lot busier this time of day. That's not fun. At least it's not 100 degrees anymore. It's like 78 right now. Oh, I'm gonna be taking these 8 really slow. What's interesting about these doubles that are gonna happen this block, they're happening because coach is gonna bring up my mileage this block. It feels like the next necessary step for progression as I get down to closer to 230. And it's not gonna be easy, but it feels like it's the only way it's manageable, or else I'd have to be running 12 or 13 miles every morning. It feels like a bit too much. I haven't struggled this hard on a run
in a very long time. Stitch, just really struggling. My body is incredibly tired. We stayed up till 1 a.m. last night, and I am feeling it. I still got 6.5, 7 hours of sleep, but I am really struggling right now. It's gonna be very hard to get through 8 like this. I'm gonna walk for a little bit to try to work off this stitch, because it is just kind of unbearable. I'm so shocked I'm in this much pain right now. I don't understand what's happening. It also does not feel like 78. It feels like 100 degrees right now. I'm just gonna pause every 2 miles. I've not struggled like this on a run in a very long time. Kind of like at that point where I can't stop myself from making sounds like you know, that kind of vibe. The stitch is just getting worse and worse. It's so bad. All right, Abe, one of the other creators on the trip, is just right up the road running. He's a good rabbit to just chase right now. I'm just gonna focus on trying to catch him and running with him. If I can catch him, great. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I'll be able to though. I've never had a stitch like this. Okay, we'll go chase him and see if I can catch him. Come on. Come on. Come on. Dude, I'm having the hardest run of my life right now. But we gotta push each other.
I know, I didn't.
I saw you.
My podcast just ended. I was like, oh, I gotta shoot something new.
I saw you and I was like, I have to start chasing him for something. I have the worst stitch I've had in like 3 years right now.
Oh no.
I don't know what the heck is happening, but
You got it.
I have about 0.85 left.
It's gonna make it.
I'm at 0.84. Do you want to go in or no? You're going?
I'm gonna keep going.
All right. Thanks, Abe.
Nice.
Oh.
So that wasn't great. Never experienced that kind of pain on an easy run. And you saw my attitude at the beginning. I was like, yeah, just like full Goggins mode. Like, let's just get through this, hammer through. Immediately felt sick, relapsed into being sick as soon as I got back. Like, started feeling the cold sweats, shivers in the shower. I was like, oh no. So like, I either didn't fully recover from the sickness the week before, or I just like relapsed into something else. And got home that evening, had the chills, didn't run my double, and was deep in the emotional pain cave. Yeah, I just started to realize that I was having these stomach issues. Like that stitch in my stomach, I'd never really felt that kind of pain while running. And so I just took Friday easy, took that off because I just turned, it was crazy. I went from Dallas, Fort Worth back home for like 12 hours. And then the next morning, me and the boys in the studio took off for our documentary premiere in New York City with Moving Still and Joe Greer. And wildly exciting event, something we've been looking forward to for so long, especially premiering the doc in New York City. But again, wanted to try to relax and rest the body as much as possible and not run on Friday. And felt good enough on Saturday afternoon to prescribed 9 miles, but I ended up doing 6.5.
Let's go. I was gonna go over Brooklyn Bridge and go into Manhattan. I'm in downtown Brooklyn right now. I think I might do Manhattan Bridge instead. Get a different view. Should be fun. but remind me of Queensboro a bit. Which is not fun. Mile 15, 16 in the New York City Marathon. Absolute death going up to Queensboro. Feeling pretty good. The stitch is still there a bit. Wonder if it'll get worse as I go, but it feels good to get the legs moving again. I haven't felt well the past 48 hours. Making me feel bummed, honestly. I was hoping that I could hit every single day this training block and to mess up back the first week. It's not the funnest feeling. But we move on, we move through, we persist.
Still felt the stomach stitch, but not nearly as bad as the Thursday before, so that felt like I was on the up and up. On the way to the venue, we got notification that our flight was canceled for the next day, so that was super fun. And we rebooked flights multiple times, and the only way we could do it was to take a train from New York to Philly and fly out of Philly the next day. Super great. Premiere was insane, so much fun, incredible people, incredible response to the movie, but we stayed up until 2 a.m., and Cyrus and I needed to hit the train station by 6 a.m. So we got 2.5 hours of sleep, running on fumes, obviously not going to run again that day. I'm starting to realize this much travel is like going to deeply affect my training block this time, and I need to be so unbelievably intentional moving forward with this block in particular, with more travel coming up. Fully feeling sick again, feeling like I can't get any miles in. Got home, tried to rest as much as possible, and ended up taking Sunday and Monday off. I wanted this first episode to be like, boom, I'm super fit already. It feels like episode 1 of other marathon series I've done in the past have been like, best shape I've ever been in at the beginning of the block, and I still think that's kind of true. But these first 2 weeks have just been hell. Like, it's been brutal to navigate, feeling sick, dealing with these stomach issues. And I don't know how serious that is. Today, we're going to test it out. I got 11 easy in yesterday. Felt relatively good. My workout is today, moving into week 2. So I'm pushed back a day this entire week. I've just been trying to play catch up for 2 weeks straight. And I never want to hide how I'm feeling emotionally, given circumstances on this channel. Like, I'm never going to want to just pretend that everything's okay all the time. I had feelings yesterday of just being like, oh yeah, maybe Chicago's just not in the cards this fall, and I need to push to Indy in November. It's really early to make any kind of decisions like that, but feeling like, wow, at the end of this week, it's only going to be 10 weeks until the race. So it just makes it feel very real, and it makes me feel this lack of confidence. But again, this is just such a process that takes much longer. 10 weeks sounds like a short amount of time, but that is a lot of time. And relative to how I feel, I want to stay committed to it as best I can without getting myself hurt, anything serious like that. So that's where I'm at. Hope this was interesting to you. I hope it's exciting that a new series has started and that you get to follow along with all the drama that's happening. Stupid. But it's what it is right now. I'm so thankful to still even just have the option of running right now. And I'm hoping I can bounce back very quickly. So if you enjoy these series, please make sure to like it. Comment down below with what you're excited about and seeing in this series, and maybe my predicted time, what you think I will run in Chicago. And we'll catch you in episode 2.